Hello, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel. And thank you so much, everybody, who's listening right now in the podcast. Today is July 20th, Monday, 2026. I'm here to speak about a tragic death that a 4-year-old had during a dental procedure. I want to give you a trigger warning because, the details that I'm going to share here, it might be sensitive to a lot of people. So I wanted to give you that trigger warning. And before I continue, I want to say thank you so much, everybody who has been using Spotify to listen to this podcast. If you follow Julissa Designs podcast on Spotify, it helps me as a creator. And also, as you know, you will get a notification every time I make a new episode. The same thing to everybody who's watching this video right now on YouTube. Thank you so much for subscribing and sharing and leaving a comment. It helps me also as a creator. And in case some of you guys don't know, I know I don't announce it as often as I should. I also have Patreon, which you can subscribe there by joining Patreon. The link should be in the description of every episode that I make and every video that I make here on YouTube. And you can just click there. You can see what I have on Patreon and what are the options for you if you want to support, this podcast. And I want to say thank you guys so much for everything. I do want to also remind you that as I'm getting myself ready for New York Fashion Week once again, I'm not doing as many episodes that I normally will do as I'm getting ready with the new collection for spring 2027. So I wanted to say all of that before I continue. But here we are, guys, and another sad case, another child who loses their life in the medical office, and in this time in the dental office. And the reason that I say that is because we have seen it happen in the past. We have seen this happen. I think if you look at my episodes, you can, that's why I always like to give the day every time I make a new episode, because I want to make this kind of like log of things that are happening, right? And just as I was searching, I think I did an episode in 2025 and also in 2024 about a child losing their life at a dental office. And it makes you wonder, like, what type of procedures are these children going through? And, it's just so bizarre that they're so young, right? And they are being recommended to have this major procedure. And it's questionable. I do understand also, and a lot of people sometimes they don't get into it, happens to them, that a dental practice is also a business, right? So you always have to, if you have to get a second opinion, that's okay for you to do that. And there's so many dental offices, right? Sometimes we are so you know we want to go to the same one that they say that our family goes to, our parents go to. We say we've been coming here forever, things like this. There are other options, and in these cases that we see when children are losing their life because they're going through intensive medical procedures. Um, it's just sad, but I feel like you know, it's always, especially when they're that young, it's always good to get a second opinion. I'm in this case, maybe this is just, I think what happened here, I'm gonna give you the details, is anesthesia and maybe using the wrong anesthesia or maybe too much of one. That's what happened here. But in previous cases, like I mentioned, I do also am aware that in those previous cases they lost their life, the children, because they were being they were having procedure that you know they were not ready for them. Dental work is very delicate, and it's very sometimes we brush it off as like it's nothing. It's very your teeth. I'm not a dentist, but from what I learned, just kind of like going through appointments and things like that, it's connected to so much in your body, and sometimes we brush it off as like it's nothing. But we can just agree to everything that is recommended. Like I said, it's always good to get a second opinion. because if something goes wrong in the dental procedure, it will affect so much in your body. It's just crazy. So we have to be careful. But in this case, in the other cases, every time I hear when young kids are going through this extensive procedure, you kind of question like, really they needed that, like you think about like really they needed that. I also know about people that they might have some troubled teeth, not all of them, right? And a lot of the times they recommend that they get all of them removed so they can get dental implants. And I'm like, I don't understand that. And if that's the route that you took and you're happy, that's great. Sometimes I don't understand why would you take something that's good. It's almost like somebody saying to you, take off your two legs, right? Because we're gonna give you ones that are gonna be perfect for the rest of your life. Like that's the whole point that I don't picture that to be a good option. A lot of the times when I hear these stories, but let me just tell you about this case. A Texas dentist has been arrested after investigators found a 4-year-old girl died from a toxic dose of an opioid following what was supposed to be a routine dental procedure. Okay, I don't, maybe a clinic could be called a routine dental procedure. Everything else that needs anesthesia shouldn't be called routine. Like I said, dental is very delicate. It's connected to so much in your body. And when you're already in that moment that you're gonna need anesthesia, that's also like, that means that's being taken to a different kind of level, right? In the procedure. So it shouldn't be called routine. And they're saying that this 4-year-old girl died from a toxic dose of an opioid following what was supposed to be a routine dental procedure, with officials alleging the child distress went unrecognized until it was too late, right? A 4-year-old. And it says here Dr. Chris Hell Hemphill, 48 years old, was arrested Wednesday and is charged with recklessly causing serious bodily injury to a child, a second-degree felony, after investigators claim her actions during an April 1st dental procedure resulted in the death of Haitiana Rodriguez Arriaga, and she was just 4 years old. What a nightmare, and I also say that for the dentist, because I'm sure that was not the outcome that they were hoping for that day, right? Um, so it's a nightmare to even go to experience something like that. But it makes you wonder, like, how much of this kind of like double checking verification is being done that they're gonna bring in this patient, right? Probably, well, I'm sure with her parents, right, for this routine procedure, and they're gonna use so much anesthesia, right, on a 4-year-old that they're going to completely dismiss and completely miss, excuse me, their behavior during anesthesia. If you ever had a dental procedure, and you know that once they put anesthesia on you, they kind of leave you, and they're like, we'll give you time for the anesthesia to kick in, and we'll come back or something. So you would think like for a 4-year-old, people will be more like kind of like proactive and be like, we're gonna stay here with her and see how she's taking all this anesthesia before we continue, with making sure that she's being well. But you know, when you have a busy business, right? They have 3 million patients doing very crazy procedures, and probably all of them that are there. They'll put the anesthesia, they leave the patient in the room, and they go and do another, or what is it called, root canal, and start another root canal on somebody else, which is very delicate. Root canal is very delicate, and it's just that they want to do so much in one day of work, and things like this they're gonna miss, right? They're going to miss patients' behavior. Are they taking the anesthesia or not? Because, like I said, normally what they do, they'll leave you in the room for like 15 minutes for the anesthesia to kick in, right? And if you do that, you're gonna miss the the patient behavior, because as we know, not every medication is going to work the same on everybody, especially somebody that age, right? So it's this a lot of things, and we see this in a lot of medical offices. They're always, you know the doctors are speaking to you 100 miles per hour. They want to rush you out. They don't even listen to you fully, because it's a business. They want to see as many patients as they can. And I think that's been the challenge for a while. And in this economy, as we're going through it, I'm sure it's been very hard too. And the problem with that is that when you're putting people's life on the line, then, things like this are going to happen. Unfortunately, this happened April 1st, and it said the dental procedure resulted in the death of Atiana Rodriguez, which she was just 4 years old. Police said months of interviews with witnesses, medical experts, and the state dental investigators led to the recent arrest. Health Records Review said that Henfield, practice owner, the dentist, was booked into jail Wednesday afternoon last week after being released on a 10,000 surety bond. According to the Fort Worth Police Department, firefighters responded to Coral Kids Dental after staff reported the 4-year-old had become unresponsive following the procedure. She was taken to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead. And it says here that police said in a statement that upon their findings, it was determined that by investigators that an offense had occurred and that the doctor was performing the procedure on the victim. Let me read that again. It says here that the doctor that was performing the procedure on the victim was responsible. So that's what they determined. According to an arrest warrant affidavit obtained by media, Atiana's mother told investigators, this is what I was saying earlier, right? It says here the mom said that she told investigators she felt rushed into signing paperwork before the procedure and watched as Hemphill handed her daughter a cup containing liquid medication, encouraging her to drink before she was taken into the treatment room. You, this is the thing, like this is why sometimes people have a problem going to the doctor's office. You're calling in this family with a 4-year-old who's gonna go there for a dental procedure. You're gonna rush the whole thing, right? And it's not a routine procedure. Once you're using anesthesia or any type of sedative, right? Don't call it routine, right? Because we know why is that needed, right? So not only you're gonna do that, you're gonna rush the family to sign paperwork, and they're gonna take the daughter in, the 4-year-old, right? I thought the mom was there with her, so they took the daughter into to the room. It says here that she was given a cup containing liquid medication, encouraging her to drink it before she was taken into the treatment room. The mom said that she was not allowed to remain with her daughter during the procedure. Are you serious? This routine procedure, no parent is allowed to come in with their kid. This routine, we do this every day. Procedure is so easy. Right. Why was her mom not allowed to come in with her daughter? It's not like they were going to take x-rays, right? Because we know sometimes they need people out of the room and want to do x-rays and all of that. But um, they were like, no, 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 she cannot come in. Um, it's only the child that is allowed in the room. And a 4-year-old, remember, this is a 4-year-old that we're talking about. So let me continue to read here. So, um, I believe it was an hour later, she was brought back into the room and found her daughter unresponsive while Henfield attempted to wake her with a popsicle, according to investigators. And then the emergency crews were called. The tragic case has since prompted police to encourage parents to advocate for their children during procedures. The last thing will the last thing you will expect as a parent, right? The one thing I would suggest, if you feel like you want to be there when your child is having a procedure, you need to insist to be there. But that's the thing, we are so accustomed to just do what the doctor said, right? Sometimes, we don't want to push forward because, sometimes even like going to a medical office, not every office is like this, obviously. People are not the nicest when you're walking, right? And it's almost like walking into DMV, like you're there paying to get service, but you still feel like you need to, like, don't ask too many questions. They don't want to repeat things for you, and they just want you to sign and just go to the room and like get comfortable because you're gonna get anesthesia. Like, ask a million questions. This is about you, and if you go in there with your child, you ask 3 million. If people want to get offended, like I said, there are a lot of offices, right? There's so many offices that you can go to, and if you feel rushed, that's a big sign. If you feel rushed in a place where you're paying to be seen, you're being there, you're trusting them to do a good job with the procedure, and they're gonna rush you, like, so what? Like, just walk away. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes people want to be. The point that I'm saying is that they want to see so many patients, so they can get very short with you and just sign the paperwork and be asking so many questions. And like, at the end of the day, you're the one paying them to, and like, this is the treatment that you're gonna receive. And if you feel like you want to answer that question, that's also you're you're feeling in your gut like something feels off about this whole thing. And if people are rushing you to do something, it's never good. Like, like, if it's being rushed, there's no need for that, right? So the police is saying, for all the parents, always insist to be there. I mean, what happened, right? It's a 4-year old. Like, can I just be with my child? I'm not she's gonna need me. I want to see what you guys do and all of that. But they told her that she was not allowed to walk into the treatment room. And then the next image of this mom was to see her daughter unresponsive. So imagine the nightmare there. So let me see what else they say here. The medical examiner later ruled that her death, Diana's death, an accident caused by, I'm trying to my best to pronounce this. It says meperidine toxicity. That's what the medical examiner said. The arrest affidavit alleges that the 4-year-old has 793 milligrams of meperidine in her system. And I do apologize if I mispronounced that, which I'm sure I am. A level investigator said medical experts believe would have been toxic even for an adult in this routine procedure they were doing for her. Detective dug deeper into the case. They consulted with the Texas State Board of Dental Examiners, reviewed the board investigation, and sought opinions from outside medical specialists. According to the affidavit, Atiana received chlorohydrate and hydroxyzine and meperidine, in addition to nitrous oxide gas, right? Which each medication individually fell within recommended limits. She got 3 different ones. Wow. Failed to the dentist failed to account for the powerful combined effect of the drugs, right? Normally you see them using just one of the 3 that I mentioned. This child was giving all 3 of them. Wow. Police said that alleged that the doctor failed to recognize the sign that Atiana was slipping into respiratory distress and administered uh, flumazenil, which reverses benzodiazepines instead of naloxone, Narcan, that they also call the medication used as a counter opioid overdose. The affidavit notes no benzodiazepine were found in the girl's system. Investigators also cited findings from a board-certified anesthesiologist who concluded that Atiana was not properly monitored during the critical recovery period after sedation and that the emergency response failed to address opioid-induced respiratory depression. See, and this is so sad. What I was saying earlier is that they administer a lot of the times, they administer this anesthesia and everybody will respond different to it. Unless you, if you gone to them before, they already know what works on you. But if you like first time having this procedure, and we're talking about a 4-year-old, most likely this was the first time she was given this type of anesthesia, so they don't know how she's gonna react to it. And what? Not even her mom was allowed to be there, right? Maybe get the mom out before you're about to begin. That she took the anesthesia well, but like to keep her completely, separated from her daughter, that says a lot there too. I wonder how many in that moment that Atiana was at the office. I wonder how many other patients were being treated by the same doctor. We see it all the time. They want to juggle so many things in one day, right? And you know, dental is so delicate, like every other stuff, but dental is so delicate. And the reason that I say that, that's what I'm talking about today. Um, Let me see what else I can get here. The investigation uncovered additional concerns inside the dental office. According to court documents, investigators found syringes containing leftover medication that staff allegedly intended to save for future patients, as well as confusion over where the Narcan was kept during the emergency. Mhm. For Atiana's family, the arrest comes from more than 3 months after they lost um, what they describe a beautiful 4-year-old girl, filled with life and kindness, whose presence always lit up the room. Let me see also, I'm trying to get the exact procedure she was there for. It's interesting, they didn't say it here. Just a reminder, this happened April 1st of this year. So this dentist was probably allowed back to go and practice after what happened to the child. After they, now that they finished the investigation, then, she was arrested. I'm just searching right now what type of procedure she was there for. She was gonna have unnecessary tongue tie procedure. Tongue tie procedure. And everywhere you search it, they say it's a very what do they call it? It's very small dental procedure. Like I said, I'm not doctor, nothing like that. And people can say, it is a very small procedure, it's so easy and quick and that. But you need to understand, the mom had to sign paperwork. She felt like she was rushed. She was not allowed to be with her 4-year-old daughter in that moment, right? Like, what's the need for that? Like, this is a child. You're not talking about a grown person. I'm sure that child was nervous, right? So it's just very sad. They created a GoFundMe when this originally happened. I'm gonna share it, and if you feel led to still help this family, to help, and I'm saying still because it happened April 1st, you can go ahead and click on the link. You can also share the campaign. That will also help them too. And if there's any update about this case, I'll come here and make another episode. Let me know, guys, what you think about this. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming to the channel and everybody who's listening to the podcast. a good day. God bless. Hey everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good day, everybody. God bless.